In today's video, I'm going to tell you everything I loved and everything I hated, that's a strong word for this video, about Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas. So recently I took my adult son, who's 20, and his girlfriend, who's also 20, and my 13-year-old and my husband and I went on a 7-day Caribbean cruise aboard Harmony of the Seas. Harmony of the Seas is an Oasis class ship, and it was the first time I'd been on one of these massive Oasis class ships. So I was very excited. And I will tell you just right up front that I had a hard time coming up with things that I hated about this ship. All in all, it was a great experience. I'm really glad that I'm really new to cruising. So this was only the second cruise that I'd ever been on in my life. The first cruise was because we won a cruise, and it was on Voyager of the Seas, which is a smaller ship. It's not their smallest class, but it's also not, the huge Oasis class ship. And I had such a good time that I kind of got addicted. I have three more cruises booked this year, and I've already taken 3. So that just tells you how much I loved that. So this Oasis class ship was like next level. But I did find some things that I was a little bit annoyed with, or I thought could have been done a lot better. So we will get into that. The first thing that I loved about Harmony of the Seas was the neighborhood layouts, and the ship itself was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous, but not in the elegant kind of the MSC seascape. If you've seen my review on it, if you haven't, you can go watch it right here. That ship was very elegant and sparkly and kind of sophisticated and gorgeous. This was like gorgeous in a family fun, theme parky type way. There were pretty things everywhere. Everywhere you looked, there were really cool sculptures. They had the spinning head, the glittery ball spinning head in the promenade. That was, if I have a clip, I'll put it in. And that was really neat. They had beautiful artwork all around the ship. There were soothing, peaceful areas, and then bright, colorful, fun areas. It was a really pretty ship. And the neighborhoods are, they have Central Park, which is, that place was so beautiful at night. And they would always have some live jazz, soft music playing in the Central Park area, and there were real trees and plants and benches for you to sit on, and had all the little twinkly lights, and there were restaurants and shops through there. It was a lovely place just to stroll through in the evening, or just to sit down and have a drink and listen to music. There was the boardwalk area that had the carousel. There was a carousel at a Starbucks. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. You really do forget that you're on a ship when you're on Harmony of the Seas. And there were just so many neat touches on the ship, like the bar, the Rising Tides bar that starts on deck 5 and it goes all the way up to deck 7 and stays a while, and then it comes back down. That was really cool. I didn't even look. There were so many things that I didn't get to do on this ship, and that was one of them. There just wasn't enough time. I definitely didn't get to do half of the things that I wanted to do. They had the bionic bar on there, so if you've never seen a bionic bar with the robot that makes and serves your drinks, that was kind of cool. I had been to one of those in Las Vegas. The drinks aren't that great at the Biotic Bar, just FYI, but it's still like a fun, cool experience to do. It makes a good little video moment for your Facebook or Instagram stories to show all your friends. It's just neat. And then there was the Aqua Theater area, which, you know, I had seen, they did game shows there as well as the Aqua Theater event, the main show that was held there, but they did other things. They had an auction there. They did the sexiest man, a sexiest man alive contest there. That was a hoot. So I just really loved the ship. Number 2, the entertainment. The entertainment on this ship was like Broadway caliber entertainment, and I have been to Broadway. We saw Grease. It was excellent. And we also saw the Aqua Theater show, A Fine Line, which was like, it's hard to explain the Aqua Theater show. I've been to Cirque du Soleil, and that's like the closest thing I can think of to compare it to. But it's not quite Cirque du Soleil, right? But there's a lot of acrobatics. There were a lot of really, really high dives, which seemed to me into this really small pool area. You know, like my heart was beating so fast when I'd see him up on those really tall platforms. And then there was the high wire walking on a ship. And the night that we saw it, you know, the seas were a little rocky. He actually kind of, you know, had a couple little mishaps. Which made it all the more exciting and thrilling to see him do it. And there was dancing and kind of water tricks and dancing. It's hard to describe, but it was incredible. It was a really, really, really good show. I felt like I should be paying to see that, like paying extra for it. And it was just included, which kind of makes up for some of the higher cost of Royal Caribbean cruising. And there were other shows that we did not get to see. I didn't get to do a lot of things that I would have loved to do on this ship. But there was 1887, the Ice Show, A Journey in Time. There were several comedy shows. And then there was another Broadway-style show called Columbus, the musical. So I may just have to go back on another... ship. But yeah, the entertainment was excellent. Number 3, the sheer number of pools and hot tubs. There were like 4 big pools, 10 or 11 hot tubs on the ship, and 2 of those were like the double infinity hot tubs. They were right outside on either side of the adult solarium area. So there were always hot tubs that we could get into that were not crowded, and our favorite was the double infinity hot tub. I was in that a lot. And not just pools and hot tubs. There were just lots of water themed activities around, like the kids' splash zone, Splash Away Bay, with the big buckets of water that would pour on their heads, and like the jungle gym type areas, and kind of a lazy river scenario going on there. It was just 3 water slides. 2 of them were like 2 racing slides. So, you know, me and my son could start at the same time and see who got down to the bottom the fastest. And then the big bowl slide, which I loved. It was just, there were a lot of water activities on the ship. So I didn't feel like I was just putting my swimsuit on for nothing just to lay out in the sun and be hot. So I always felt like I could get in some water without being overcrowded. And I really loved that. Number 4, the activities. The activities on this ship were endless. There were endless activities. There was the zip line. There was the Ultimate Abyss dry slide that goes down through the center of the ship and you end in the boardwalk area. It's like the largest slide or the tallest slide at sea. There was rock climbing walls, the ice skating rink. There were 2 flow riders on this ship. And there were endless activities like dance classes, trivia. There was never going to be a time where you were like bored. There was something going on the ship at all times. And the game shows were fantastic. They were, I didn't know whether I should put this in the entertainment category because it was really just passengers participating. I mean, they were emceed, which did add to, the amount of fun that they were. And unlike the MSC ship, you could see what was going on. It was really fun. I didn't participate in any of the game shows, but honestly, it was just as fun to watch with a drink in my hand. Number 5, the adult area on the ship, the solarium. The solarium was 2 or 3 levels. I think there might have been like a smaller upper deck, which would count as the 3rd level, but I know for a fact there were 2 levels. That's kind of where we hung out. There were, I believe, 4 hot tubs, 2 on that middle level, the 2nd level, and then 2 down below. And there were tons of places to sit, tons of those egg chairs all down that looked over the water. There was the solarium bistro where you could go and have like a kind of a smaller, quieter version of the breakfast buffet in there. And they also served lunch. I'm not sure about dinner. We had the kids with us, so we wouldn't have been going in there to eat dinner. We ate at other places. But we did go in there for breakfast a couple of times, and it was just really nice. Just a really nice kind of more laid back space to eat instead of the massively crowded Windjammer buffet. So we really enjoyed the adults only solarium on that ship. Number 6, the teen club and the whole kids area. But really, I didn't have any little kids on this ship with me because I don't have any little kids anymore. Thank goodness. But the teen club. So my Eli was still 12. I believe he turned 13 on the last day of the cruise. That's right. So he really enjoyed this ship. I barely saw him during the whole cruise. They had a huge basketball court. They had ping pong tables right outside of that, where the basketball court, ping pong tables, and then there was one of the little free areas to eat called Mini Bites, and they had tables all around. And we went there several times. That was some of the best food we ate on the ship. And we just made our, make your own tacos. They would have steak and chicken and was it shrimp maybe? And you could just kind of build your own tacos. They had mini corn dogs, mini pork meatball things, just mini food, mini cupcakes. It was really, really good food. Anyways, back to the teen area. Inside of their teen lounge, so I went in and walked around, of course, before I just turned Eli loose in there. And they had these huge, different seating areas. They had a nightclub. They had their own little nightclub in there. They had the gaming center, and they had Nintendo and no Xbox, but it was Nintendo and PlayStation hookups in there. He spent a lot of time doing that, and tons of activities for the youth to participate in. And I really, really love that. Their youth program was top notch, and I'm curious to see how the other cruise lines will compare to Royal Caribbean, because I think that it would be hard to beat, especially for his age group, because that's all I can speak to. But as a 12-year-old, he was endlessly entertained. Okay, number 7. The service was excellent. Every person that we met that worked for this cruise line was exceptional. I have 0 complaints. None of the service was slow, no matter how crowded it was at the bars. I never felt like I had to wait a long time. I was always acknowledged, when I walked up to the bar, even if there were a lot of people. Everybody was friendly and helpful. Our room steward was phenomenal. He made it a point to memorize our names immediately, and we chit-chatted with him. He knew what our plans were for the day, what we had going on. He was overly helpful and friendly. Our rooms would be done sometimes twice a day because, if we'd come in and take a nap and change or something, we'd come back and the room would be cleaned and serviced. It was great. I haven't had that level of service anywhere else that I can think of, maybe ever. It was the service on that ship was phenomenal. Even the wait staff in the main dining room, you know, that's one thing I noticed that was different on this ship than I don't know. I'm gonna go on Carnival's my next cruise, and I've heard that, you know, they may give my Royal Caribbean. Everybody's telling me, once you're going to go on Carnival and you're going to be blown away because of the fun level, right? So I was going to say in the main dining room on Harmony of the Seas, the wait staff, you know, they would do these little kind of shows. They would do these little dances and little tricks, spinning bottles and whatnot around the dining room. And I just thought that was extra special and fun. You know, it just got everybody kind of involved in things. They were doing the Macarena. And once again, the service was just chef's kiss. That may be hard to beat with my next cruise. I don't know. We'll see. And number 8, which is the last one on the list of things I loved, although I loved almost everything about Harmony of the Seas. But number 8, I'd have to say, was the main dining room experience. I know I just touched on that a little bit with the wait staff, but the food in the main dining room. So we'll just say not just main dining room experience for number 8. It was just the quality of the food overall for me was really good. It wasn't like blow you away good. And I'm particularly talking about the free food, right? The quality of the free food I thought was really good. And there were a lot of places that were included in the price of your ticket, unlike MSC. You know, you just about starved to death on there. No, I mean, you're probably never going to starve to death on any cruise, but there were a lot of free places to eat, and every place was pretty good, except for maybe one, and I'll talk about that in the next part of my list. But the Little Mini Bites place was really good. The MDR Food, I think there was one thing I ordered, and I don't even remember what it was that I didn't like. But everything else that I ordered in the main dining room, and we ate there most nights because we only had one specialty restaurant on this cruise. We had already spent quite a bit of money, and I wasn't willing to shell out for 5 people specialty restaurant prices. But so we ate free food, and it was really good. So there's the things that I loved about Harmony of the Seas. And now, unfortunately, I have to tell you the things that I hated. And honestly, guys, I really didn't hate anything on this ship. But we'll go ahead and just give you a list of the things that I didn't like so much. Number 1, the very underwhelming thermal suite area. Look, on a ship this massive and expensive, I just expected a lot more. I was really excited about it, and no, there wasn't anything. I didn't pay to do it because there really wasn't anything to do. There were a few thermal beds, maybe like 7 or 8 thermal beds on a ship that holds over 6,000 people. And there was like one dry sauna, one steam sauna, and maybe a couple of showers. That was it. No pools, no hot tubs, no salt room, no nothing. And I don't know. I didn't do a lot of research about that beforehand. I just assumed that there would be this awesome space on the ship, and there wasn't. And I've since heard that that's kind of a thing with Royal Caribbean, that none of the Oasis class ships have a really nice thermal area. I'm curious if like the Icon class, Icon and Utopia, if their thermal suite area has been expanded or if they've put more thought into it. If anybody has been on either one of those huge big ships and you've been in the thermal suite, if you could let me know, that would be great because I'm curious. Number 2, the anytime dining. So, you know, we booked this cruise kind of last minute, and when we got checked in to pick our dining time, there wasn't anything to choose from, they were kind of full, so we had to do the anytime dining. And I was kind of confused on how that worked. I thought we just would show up and we would be seated, and that is not how it works. Apparently, I remember in the app it said anytime dining, and it had a time next to it. So I think I picked a time within the anytime dining. I don't know. We had a time on the app. And so when we went to go line up, first of all, the line was incredibly long. And when we finally got up, and I thought that we had a reservation, so we were not where we were supposed to be. That's why we had to go back and get in the long line, because we waited in one line. We thought we had a reservation, the My Time Dining reservation, and we didn't. So we just went and got in the other line, and it was like over an hour that we had to wait. And this particular dining room that we were assigned to, you had to go through, I can't remember what level it was on, maybe level 3. Anybody who's been on Harmony of the Seas, maybe you can comment and tell me what level that is. But you had to line up down the hallways of the guest rooms. So you were like in a cabin hallway, just winding all around. People were just sitting on the floor because they had been there for so long. I didn't like that at all. Everybody was really hangry by the time we got to the front of that line. Like, everybody was grouchy, not in the best moods. And I wish that situation was kind of figured out better. I don't know how they could figure it out better. That's not my job to organize those kind of things. But it was not fun for us to stand in line for over an hour in those small, kind of cramped cabin hallways. And I'm sure that the people whose rooms were in those hallways couldn't have been pleased by that. So that was one thing I didn't like so much. Number 3, there's no pool in the adult solarium area. Yeah, that was a little disappointing. I still really, really loved that area, but I would have liked to have a pool in the adults only area. So I really didn't get in any pools, because I've said before, I don't like being in like the main pool areas with all the kids and all the people. And there were 4 pools on the ship. That's just my preference. I just prefer not to be crowded in, because any cruise ship, no matter how large the cruise ship is, the pool is not going to be massive, right? I get in big resort pools with lots and lots of other people, but it just feels like there's more room to spread out. So I would have liked to had a pool in the adults only area, but the hot tubs made up for it. So even that wasn't a hate, but it would have been nice to have that in the adults area. And I think that I've read that the other Oasis class ships do have a pool in the adult solarium area. Number 4, this was a thing that really annoyed me, and this actually happened on both the Royal Caribbean cruises that I went on. It's the towel checking in and out system. The first, let's just talk about Harmony of the Seas, okay? Because that's the cruise ship we're talking about. We had 2 different rooms. So my adult son and his girlfriend had their own room, and then me and my husband and my son. And we all had like the wristbands where you could check, we use that like our room card. I really like that too. But we would check the towels out and bring them back at different times. So there was one time when we got off the ship and we checked out towels to take with us, and I just checked out towels for everyone, even though my son and his girlfriend had a separate room. I just got like all the towels on my room card, and then we came back, I dropped them all off, and I was charged for towels. And had to call and get them taken off, and it's like $25 a towel. I was charged for 2 on that one. I was also charged for towels on the other ship, which I said I wouldn't mention, but it was really annoying because on that particular instance, we had walked by the towel station and realized, they were about to close. And this was our last day on the ship. And the guy was like, don't worry about it. Just leave it in your room. We told him what our room number was, that the towels were in our room. And we'd said, okay, we can just leave them on the bed then and we won't be charged. And he said yes, and they charged us anyways. So I really don't like that system First of all, that's a whole lot of money for a towel. And those towels aren't that nice. I buy nice towels, and my towels aren't $25 a piece. So I know those towels don't cost $25 a piece. Yeah, they need to kind of get the kinks worked out in that or something. And it just seems like you should just be able to leave them in your room anyways, right? Why do you have to take them back to the towel station? Why can't you just, I want to wrap my towel around me when I'm walking back to my room, and just leave it in my room, and then when the room steward comes by, he can just say, check, they turned their towels in, easy peasy. So there's that complaint. And number 5, my last little minuscule complaint or things that I hated about Harmony of the Seas was that Johnny Rockets was only free for breakfast. Johnny Rockets was great. The free breakfast was great. And I wouldn't have known that breakfast was free there had I not have watched other TikToks and YouTubes that informed me of that. But they're only free for breakfast. And I told you I have that Carnival cruise coming up next, and I have looked at all of the free places to eat on that ship. Oh my gosh, I'm going on the Carnival Jubilee. There's tons of free food options, like really good. They have the Guy's Burger. So Johnny Rockets is kind of like the Guy's Burger of Royal Caribbean, but you can only eat there for free at breakfast. And it's a really small space too. But anyways, the breakfast food was phenomenal. It was way better than the buffet. And we really enjoyed it. I just hate that they didn't throw in the hamburgers for free at lunch also. So that's it, guys. That's all the things that I loved and hated about Harmony of the Seas. I love this ship so much that I would definitely go back on it. Anyways, guys, feel free to leave a comment and tell me what you loved the most about Harmony of the Seas or what you hated. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I have Carnival Jubilee coming up, Disney Wish, and Discovery Princess just this year. And I can't wait to share all the things that I love and hate about those ships. Till next time, guys, thanks for joining me.